So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the 4 rules of YNAB. So let's get right to it. Rule number 1, give every dollar a job. That's right. You got to give every dollar a job. And what do I mean by that? Well, you have a checking account, I assume. So if you have a checking account or a savings account, you have dollars that are there, money, that you have no idea what you're doing with it. Maybe you have some sort of idea. You're like, well, I do have to pay for rent and stuff like that, but you don't really truly know where all those dollars are going. And that's why a budget is so important. With a budget, you have categories that will tell you what those dollars are going to do that's in your checking account or savings account. Now, if you look here at my demo account here on YNAB, as you see here, I have $5,000 ready to assign. So that $5,000 was derived from me getting a paycheck. Okay, here's a paycheck, and it says $5,000 I received. So whenever you have a paycheck come in and you assign it to inflow, what happens is that this goes where? It goes into your ready to assign. Now, I don't know really, truly what I want to do with that money, okay? So I have categories set up to tell me what I'm going to do with those dollars that are in that checking account, right? So that's why it's so important to give every dollar a job. So as you see here, I have underfunded $575.60 for this month. So in order to fund it fully, all I had to do is click on underfunded and hit assign money. And now it's assigned. But I have $4,424.40 left. So I can't just leave it up there. I've got to know where every dollar is going. And that's the important thing. You want to make sure you're ready to assign amount is 0 after you've gotten some money in. You need to assign every dollar a job, and it should be 0 up here in the ready to assign column or header up here. Now, I've got to decide, where do I want to put that? Well, maybe I'm done funding for this month. Over here says I don't have anything more to fund for this month. So I could decide, where do I want to put that? Well, maybe this was a bonus that I got in or what have you. May I want to assign that to my job loss. I can either come down here to the job loss and hit plus and then add that exact amount, or what I could do is just click on assign, and here you have an auto or you have a manual. A lot of times I'm on the manual setting, and what you'll do is you go to the 2 here and here's a drop down menu, and you just select what category you want. Maybe I want it in the job loss. Maybe this was a bonus and I just want to go ahead and put the rest of that money in the job loss section. And all you do is hit assign, and voila. Now every dollar has got a job. Just that simple. And that was rule number 1. Now let's talk about rule number 2, embracing your true expenses. Now, sometimes people have a hard time with this one, but really it's quite simple. Embracing your true expenses means, right now you have monthly expenses. You have like your electric bill, you have your rent or your mortgage or what have you, right? However, you also have throughout the year what's called true expenses. Expenses that are not a monthly thing, but rather are irregular. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's say, for instance, you have an automobile that's got to be registered once a year. Maybe it's in December. It's got to be registered, right? Maybe you owe $50 every year to have your car registered in your state. Now, instead of being surprised in December when you get that bill and say, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this? I got this bill, I didn't save for it. Well, in YNAB, you can save for it with goals and on your category. So if you look here, and I have several different categories set up here, right? And one of them is auto registration. Okay. And you see here, I have a goal set up of $50 by July 1st, 2024. Okay. So in July 1st, 2024, that's when my car registration is due. But here we are in December. But I set this goal up, and if you look here, if I hit edit here, you'll see that it's set up yearly. July 1st, 2024 is when it's due, of $50. But YNAB knows that I've set this up and what month I'm on and how much money it's going to take every month to fully fund that by July 1st, 2024. So when that bill comes, I'm not shocked. So that's the essence, basically, of embracing your true expenses. You don't want to be shocked and have your budget all messed up. You want to embrace your true expenses, know that it's got to come and you got to pay it, so you might as well save for it. And that's the power of using YNAB to budget, so you're not caught off guard when that bill that comes maybe once a year or maybe twice a year or 3 times a year happens. You're not surprised. You save for it every month, your true expenses. So that is rule number 2. Now let's talk about rule number 3, roll with the punches. So what does that mean, roll with the punches? Basically, what it means is let's not be so rigid when it comes to our budget. Okay, a lot of times I don't know about you, but when I was budgeting before, and I use all kinds of different budget apps, Mint, Quicken, and all this other stuff, right? And I had a real problem sticking to my budget because when something unexpected happened, it would derail my budget, and I'm like, man, I'm just not any good at budgeting. I just got to give this up. It's just not going to work for me. I'm just not very good at budgeting, right? But you do not need to think along those lines. What you need to do is have a little bit of flexibility. And I'm not saying throw out your plan. Plans are great, and you need to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you're just going to be wandering around. You have no idea where you're going, right? So you need to have a plan, but you need not to be so rigid about it. And you need to actually focus on your plan. But if something happens, maybe your car's got to get repaired. You go along with life, you're saving money along. You just started this budget, you got $50 in your car repair thing, and then all of a sudden your car breaks down and you got to pay $1,000 bill, right, to fix it. Well, you got to understand that things happen in life that are unexpected, and you just got to roll with the punches. And maybe you have to pull from another area that's not so vital at the moment to help pay for that, because you kind of have to have a car to get to work, to make money, to be able to pay your bills, for your budget to even function. You got to have money coming in. So you see all this stuff. So some things are more important than other things. Maybe that trip will just have to be postponed to another time that you're going to go on, so you can, pay that unexpected bill. That is what roll with the punches means. Don't be so rigid. Just let it go. Understand that, hey, sometimes things happen. Just don't get so caught up in, hey, got to stick to the plan. If this plan don't work, hey, this budget don't work, I got to try another budget program or what have you, right? I've done that myself. I've just kind of skipped around. But now that I found YNAB, I understand the concepts. And so therefore, I basically roll with the punches. So that was rule number 3. Now let's talk about rule number 4. So you might ask, what is rule number 4, Jerry? That was pretty good. Rule number 1, 2, and 3. But what is rule number 4? Well, that is age your money. So you might say, what does age your money got to do with anything? Well, it's very important to not spend every dollar that you make every month and save some back. Okay? So let's say, for instance, you got $5,000 in for the month, right? Maybe it was a bonus that you got in, right? And with that $5,000, you might want to set some of that back. Maybe you want to pay off the rest of your loan that you have and then put the rest of that back. Well, let's say, for instance, you had a loan for $3,000 and you got a $5,000 bonus. So you pay that loan off, that $3,000 loan off. And now you got $2,000 you don't know what to do with. Well, you could put it into a job loss category or what have you, or your savings categories, whatever they might be. Maybe it's a job loss. Maybe you're going to pay for an upcoming trip coming along. So you want to put that money aside. Well, all this money that you put aside, maybe you put aside some in savings, maybe you go ahead and pay next month's, or not pay, I should say, but maybe you go ahead and budget for next month's expenses. And that's what I do a lot of times. I stay at least 30 days ahead. So all of my money that I have in my account is already assigned for this month. And then what I do is, in the future, I have, like for the next month, I go ahead and any money that comes in for this month, I just go ahead and automatically assign it for next month. So that ages my money, because that money that came in, let's say $5,000 came in today, and I go ahead and assign that for next month. From this point forward, and let's say we go into the future to February or January or whatever, go into the future, and now we're in the future, that money, if I didn't spend any of it, has now aged by 30 days, 15 days, 20 days, whatever day it is. And up here, if you look here at YNAB, you'll see up here in the right-hand corner, now this is a demo account, and so it hasn't really been functioning that long. So there's no age of money up here. But if you look over here at my real budget, you'll see that my age of money is 16 days. And so typically you want to have it at 30 days or more. Why mine's so low right now is because I refreshed my budget. So I started afresh. So in November, I restarted everything and redid my budget and did a fresh start, because I didn't really like how I was really learning YNAB a while back, and it really had some things kind of messed up. So I thought, well, the best thing to do is just start fresh now that I understand YNAB and have everything the way I want it, and we're going to go forward from this point forward. So my age of money is not that great, but typically you want to have it at like 30 days or more. So therefore, it's basically like a buffer for your spending, and it helps you with the spending habits also. It helps you understand that, hey, well, it's kind of like a game to me. See if I can get more and more age of my money that I received that I haven't spent yet, that I haven't earmarked for something or another, right? That I haven't actually spent that money. So if you put money into, say, your rent or what have you, that money that you assigned there, those dollars that you assigned there, that's not going to age, because every month you got to pay your rent, right? But if you set money aside for the future, or you set money aside in like a savings account or what have you, and you've earmarked that in your budget, and let's say, in a year you're going to go on vacation, or maybe you have a job loss fund of $10,000, that money you haven't spent in that job loss and you haven't allocated it elsewhere will now be your age of money. Okay, so that's basically what age of money. And we'll go into that in later episodes, but I did want to kind of give you all a real quick rundown of the 4 rules of YNAB. So, like always, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button right down below, and if you want to see more of these episodes in the near future, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. And with that being said, I want to wish you all a wonderful week, and I'll catch you next episode. Take care.